Innis and Gunn is Scotland's best-loved independent brewer, producing an award-winning range of handcrafted oak-aged beers which are enjoyed the world over by drinkers who seek depth of flavour above all else. Our beer is brewed in small batches and matured by the same craftsmen that have made Scotland famous for its Scotch whisky. We use the same techniques of cooperage and maturation that have been passed down from generation to generation. Innis and Gunn's pioneering oak aging process imparts a luxurious depth of flavour to its beers that you will not find in ordinary mass-produced brews. It all began back in 2002 when a famous Scotch whisky distillery contacted the company's founder, renowned brewer Dougal Sharp. They wanted to make a beer-finished whisky and had tried dozens of beers, but none of them were working. "Can you help us?" they asked.
So we thought about what we would do differently to all these other companies, and we realised that what we needed to do was make a beer which was very similar to a sherry. Sherry finishes are very well known in whisky, so we came up with a beer which was very sweet and full flavoured. Grant's put this beer into oak barrels, and the beer seasoned the inside of these barrels perfectly. And Grant's launched Ale Cask Reserve Whisky back in 2002, and they bought thousands of barrels of beer from us.
But this beer was only ever intended to be used in the whisky making process and was poured away once it had been used to season the barrels.
Or at least that's what we thought. But actually what was happening is the workers who were supposed to be emptying these barrels to throw them away had discovered that the beer had been completely transformed by its time in the oak. They contacted me, and the distillery manager, Mike Webber, said, "Dougal, you're not going to believe this, but the beer that we've been throwing away tastes absolutely delicious."
Tasting this oak barrel beer for the first time was an unforgettable moment. It was outstanding and had a flavour unlike any beer Dougal and his brewers had ever tasted. It had been completely transformed by its time in the special barrels used at the distillery. They did not realise it then, but in that moment of serendipity, a whole new style of beer had been born. Dougal believed so passionately in the flavour of this new beer that he left his job and set up Innis and Gunn.
The starting point for Innis and Gunn is water, and we're lucky in Scotland to have some of the purest brewing water in the world. Because we only use 4 ingredients to make Innis and Gunn, we are fastidious about the raw materials that we use. We use Optic Pale Ale malt, which is all grown within 100 miles of the brewery. We use Goldings hops, which come from England, to provide bitterness and a light fruity character. And we use our own strain of yeast, which gives a smooth, creamy flavour to our beer.
The blending together of these 4 simple ingredients, water, malt, yeast and hops to brew the beer, is the start of Innis and Gunn's unique process.
But it's really just a blank canvas. It's what happens in the barrels and during the oak maturation that imparts all of the amazing oak character to our beers. We hand select barrels from the very best bourbon producers in the US. We break them up, we ship them to Scotland, we reassemble them, and we only use them once to get the very best flavours out of the barrels. We often get asked what barrels we use, which producers we source our barrels from, but that is a family secret.
The traditions we've learned from our brothers in the Scotch whisky industry dictate that every barrel is filled and matured inside a bonded warehouse. After filling the barrels, the beer soaks into the oak and unlocks the flavours from deep inside, growing in character with every hour that passes. And our craftsmen taste the beer regularly to ensure that the maturation is progressing to our satisfaction. Every barrel matures in a different way, each one tastes slightly different to its neighbour, and this is where the skills of the master blender come into their own.
It breaks our heart that not every barrel matures to perfection, and anything that doesn't mature to perfection, we just have to throw it away, because we have extremely high standards for quality.
Our master blender selects only the very best barrels to be blended together and sent for bottling, and only then can it be called Innis and Gunn. People often ask us where the name Innis and Gunn comes from. It's the middle name of my brother Neil Innis Sharp and my middle name Dougal Gunn Sharp.
Innis and Gunn is the only brewer in the world to combine the very best of Scotland's most renowned traditional trades: the master brewer, the barrel cooper, the warehouseman, and the master blender, to make a beer unlike any other. The resulting beer and the stream of awards it has won is testament to the skills, dedication and passion of the small handful of craftsmen who brew and mature every drop of Innis and Gunn.